This issue was interesting. I like the villain and the plot is decent, but the writing is, well, let's just say this one lays that old school corn on just a little too heavy for me. In this issue, we get the first appearance of another iconic villain, the Sandman, which gives us the question, how does one defeat an enemy that he can't really touch? It kicks off with a comical skit where some thugs are obviously robbing a business and Spider-Man swoops in to stop them, as he does. Unfortunately, he has a little oopsie poopsie and pulls the trigger before the crime has actually happened. So the three thugs threaten to sue Spider-Man. It's a pretty dumb situation, but it was actually pretty funny. Anyways, we then get our first introduction to Sandman, who basically just stands there while Spider-Man tries to kick his ass. But how do you punch someone that can change the consistency of his body at will? For any One Piece fans out there, it reminded me very much of early Luffy trying to hit Logia fruit users. Sandman is just about anatomically perfect to do battle with someone like Spidey, who mostly fights with his fists, and it forces Peter to find different ways to confront his enemy. But not yet, because at this point his mask is destroyed, so of course he has to run away, because otherwise he would go to jail, and Aunt May would have to sell shoelaces to pay a rent. Was selling shoelaces a thing in the 60s? This leads to a few pages of him having to hide his costume until he can try to fix it and fake sick with Aunt May. I think it's interesting that Peter Parker is a lot of the times dealing with different kinds of stress and tension. It seems rare that he ever can just fully focus on just one single problem in his life. He's usually stuck fighting a literal godlike being with terrifying powers, but at the same time he's faking sick to try and keep his curious aunt from finding out his secret identity or having to flake out on his social life. There's also this really funny scene where Peter sticks Jonah's butt to a seat with webbing. I don't know how it's relevant to my video, but there is no way I'm not bringing it up because it's hilarious in an issue full of funny scenes. You know, I'm starting to think that maybe this issue was secretly good. It sure did have some good moments. Anyways, Peter calls off a date with Liz, pissing her off, only to have Sandman just randomly show up at his school while looking for a place to lay low. Flint Marko, aka the Sandman, ends up running into the principal and has suddenly decided that he needs to get his diploma and demands that the principal write one up for him. It was weird, but it kind of fits the it's so dumb it's funny theme that this issue seems to be going for. Spidey shows up at the right time to save the day, and this time he is far more prepared to fight Sandy, using the timing of his hard and soft sand in order to hit him a little bit. It's still kind of a losing battle though, but Spidey has a secret plan, in the way of a large industrial vacuum cleaner that he sucks up the Sandman with. There's just one small problem. He forgot to get pictures for JJ. So Peter has a little photo op, reenacting his bout with Flint Marko by tossing handfuls of sand into the air and jumping through it. Honestly, at this point, it's whatever, I guess. Stan and Steve were just feeling like jesters while writing this one. JJ doesn't think that Spider-Man should be able to take the law into his own hands, bringing up the age-old question about whether masked vigilantes are a good or a bad thing, and it wouldn't be a Spider-Man comic if it ended happily, as we see Peter ecstatically receives payment from JJ for the pics that he took just to realize that he has lost his date with Liz, and as always finds himself confused and torn on if he is doing the right thing.